Well, hello and welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Neokyo Nights stage number 2. Wanted to get the images up right from the get-go because this is Twilight Harbor, and I'm pretty excited that we get to see this amazing course. We'll get myself and Dave picture in just a moment here, but this is such a cool start. We start out by the cutoff for Yurikaze, and right from the get-go, we hit up this circuit-like course. Not a crit course necessarily, but definitely 3 laps. Pretty solid when it comes to racing in the downtown of Neokyo. Nathan Guerra here, Dave Towle. Sat next to me virtually, Dave, and we've got 54 A racers and well over 100 Bs and Cs that we'll be covering across the categories today.
Absolute insanity. Nathan, did everybody get a Tron bike? Was Oprah handing them out? You get a Tron bike? You get a Tron bike? I think they did. So that's cool. It took me a while to pick up on that last week, but Nathan, you're absolutely right. This isn't a standard crit course, but it's got a crit-like vibe to it, and certainly anticipating a monster finale out here today when you look at some of the sprinters that we've got with us. I'll tell you, though, there's a rider, Nathan, I'm really intrigued by. Werner Vex, the Belgian, joining us. He's on the Merida team. It's a new name to me, but this is definitely got monster alerts going off around the globe here. As he makes nearly 1,000 watts of raw power, 13.5 for his 15 seconds. So he's right up there with James Young, who comes in is certainly the rider to watch today. There's a dragon I got my eyes on as well, Rainier Becker. So just a few of the riders in our A group. I know we'll be working our way, Nathan, through all of the different fields, and I genuinely appreciate you. But let me throw my attention to an attack going off the front right now here on lap number 1. Hit
Right
out.
from the get-go here, people are starting to make moves. I think that's going to be Alexander RT from the RT team here, making a nice move. He's also looking good. It looks like he's got the cap. He's got the braids in the back here on the Bluetron. Black and yellow. He's got 1 second. Not only 4.6, now 5.5. So a little bit of continuance as they give him some wiggle room to work with here, Dave.
Well, Nathan, when you look back and you see a field of Trons, that is definitely ominous, isn't it? But at least you're on one yourself. But Alexander, it looks like it's going to get brought back into the fold. This is going to be high octane racing out here. And it looks like, I don't even know if that's a chase or a counterattack that we've got, but they're going to be hitting out left, right, and center here. Twilight Harbor. Nathan, have you ever raced this course?
Yeah, I'm familiar with this course a couple of times. I think actually this course was one of the courses we did use, I believe, in that Legion series way back. So I have been on this one before. Not sure I've done it too many times, but it is a familiar course, and it's an interesting one because it essentially does what it seems to be the outskirts of the Neokyo that you can do. So I'll give you a quick little look at this maybe just a second here, as it is an interesting course, that's for sure. If we just throw this up here real quickly, you go around the 2 sprint sections, you leave from that harbor, so Twilight Harbor obviously there, and then make your way through 2 sprint sections and kind of around the outskirts of the city. You don't obviously go up and over the top of the rooftops section, you cut that off. But besides that, Dave, definitely interesting course that we got here. 2 off the front here, Squirrel and Alexander. Interesting. People starting to see this as a threat, perhaps. We got some bodies jumping across.
Yeah, there's no points out here, but we're entering one of those sprint zones that Nathan was just talking about. As you can see how chaotic it's going to be at the front out here. We talk about it, most likely being a sprint. Well, there's a lot of riders that want to cut against the grain out here, and these are the riders on your screen right now. Nathan, we're only 2.7K in, and this has been one of the most active races that I've seen in a long time here. I really do like this circuit. Twilight Harbor, it brings out the racing element in our racers as far as tactics come to the fore. If you include that rooftop sector, the old air quotes exercise contest element really comes into play quite a bit more with such a physical sector that you have to get through. But here, you really got to time it right. And again, no bonus points. We're just racing to the finish line today, scratch race format.
Adrian here at the Alienware kit, kicking out of the pack there. Big jump coming from him up in his 15. It looked like maybe not 15, 10 watts per kilogram at least. He gets a 2-second gap now, as he's going to be, I believe, taking a left-hand turn, sharp left. No, they're going to go straight. Excuse me, sorry about that. So he's got 3 seconds. It looks like that looked like. Remember, we were saying just the other day, you always want to be the last move. And this is the one. I mean, this isn't going to be the last move of the day, but as far as the initial attacks go, this looks to be one of the last moves. Up into that 181 beats per minute. Nobody really countering to bring this back, but I think he's struggling at 181 as we see it dropping into 3 watts per kilogram, back into 5. So this is a good, it's a good move, but the question is, can he hold on to that wattage? And on the front, they're pushing 4, Dave, and he's pushing 3 now, and I think the engine light's going on.
The yellow check engine light. Yeah. Well, and I admire the courage here. Get out, test the legs. This is absolutely, the format of racing that we have here on Mondays is come, get a great workout in, throw down, tap into your adrenal gland exactly as Dreen is right now. But the reality of just the collection of power that you've got back in that peloton is exactly this, as it looks like a lion making a catch of an injured antelope on the Serengeti. As down goes Dreen, making that catch, and we'll reshuffle the deck one more time here at the front. I mean, Nathan, we're not even through lap number 1 here, and we've already seen 4 legitimate attacks going up the road. But you can see the wattage differential that you need to obtain to even get a couple of seconds puts riders behind the 8 ball.
As you can see, this is the only uphill, downhill section really out on course. It's only a 2% gradient or so that is going to have any kind of serious impact, most likely. And the riders here now, Maluen here off the back, using some steering, it looks like, to grab a good draft. 127 beats per minute, not too much of a struggle. Janssen here as well, the Swedish rider. We'll take another right-hand turn. Actually, this is going to be a little uphill grind too. Excuse me. 3%, 4%. Actually, this one's going to have a little bit extra on it compared to what we just saw. I'll have a downhill again in just a moment. And then I think they are going to head through the alleyway, actually. And they'll be 5K in to this 3-lap race. We've also got the B category up and ready to go here. Dave, there are 156 riders, Dave, in this B category. When they first took off out from the pens, I could barely find anybody because there were so many riders to go through. Right off the get-go in this B category, I saw at least 10, 15 riders go out the back, though. So, Dave, this is definitely a competitive group right now. Aero power-ups being dropped left, right, and center as they're about to take on that little uphill grind. There will be power-ups rewarded through where you see the A category going on the right-hand side of the screen right now. It looks like Aero. I'm seeing a draft. I saw invisibility are just all power-ups on. I think that may be the case. I'm going to double check that. Maybe not steamroller. I wouldn't see why there would be a steamroller in there.
No, nor anvil, but definitely van, draft, and feather all in play out here. Look at this B race right now, Nathan. Excuse me, that's going to be the A's, isn't it? That we're looking
I should get a little title underneath
there,
shouldn't I? Yeah, definitely would be
helpful,
wouldn't it?
I was reading it like a book, but you can see that the B's basically together, but the A's, it's getting spicy out there as they're about to complete lap number 1. But Nathan, you make a great point. I mean, the quantity of riders taking the start in this B field, it really benefits everybody when you're looking for exactly what these guys are looking for, which is a rugged 20 kilometers of racing. Almost all. It's interesting when you look at the flags. You have to go quite a ways before I see Dan Manilow, the first American flag here. So it's definitely a solid group. Well, I mixed Alex there. Sorry about that, Alex Turpin. But in general, this is going to be Europeans with a slight emphasis on Northern Europeans that make this race.
Yeah, and definitely going to be dinner time in most of Europe. So I think right around dinner, getting home from work, it's a great time to jump on the bike and get a quick little hit out on this circuit.
Probably want to make sure it's before dinner, not right after.
Some like people, I don't know. There's some people out there, Dave.
I don't know how they would do that.
But
We'll leave that for another podcast, maybe.
yeah,
But
sounds good. When do you Zwift, before or after dinner? A topic on the wrap this week. That would be some
how much time
interesting
do you need?
stories. Those would be
Yeah.
some interesting stories, I think, if we actually tried to pull that one off.
The intensity of esports racing is something that until you've done it yourself, you really have no idea how quickly you find the bottom of the wattage barrel out there. Well, speaking of that, we've got a legit attack going up the road here in our A event. As I'm gonna have to say now, Nathan, these two, this might not be the race winning attack. Certainly I wouldn't bet on it, but I do like the attitude here. Let's get out and throw down. I mean, after 10 minutes of racing, these guys are ready to really find another gear right now. And it shows you how hard it is with the watch that they've been making to try to open up a 3-second gap is a monumental effort. And the peloton is just sitting back there licking their lips.
Yeah, interesting. Collins held up for just a second. I saw him go under 5 watts per kilogram for a moment, letting Afghanser get across here. And now they're actually doing pretty well to work together. I'm seeing Afghanser pull 5 watts per kilogram. Collins now heading to the front, and there's definite parity in the amount of watts that are being thrown down on the front of this race right now. So they are working together, Dave. They've got 3 seconds. It hasn't really gone out from there. They're keeping a leash on it a little bit here. But as they continue on, if they can continue with this steady pace, not slow down, really take their pulls well here, this may go out a little bit more. Now out to 4 seconds, as you can see. 1984 can see the thread a little bit. He starts to head to the front, pushing 5, and that's going to push the pace up just a tad. 45 kilometers per hour, as you can see, uphill gradient, 43 here from the leaders, 43. So it's just matching, Dave. It's matching. It goes out to 4, back to 3.
Well, as James Brown used to tell the band, tighten up, guys. And I think that's exactly what these two need to do, because they've got a legitimate good thing going right now. Even though it's only a few seconds, you can see that the gap in between. And there we go. That's a good look at a breakaway. Their teammates, they just now, and Werner Verks, I was talking about the Belgian, Nathan, at the beginning of the broadcast. He comes in as one of our danger men. He's got a legitimate sprint, but I just don't feel like they quite have all the beats right here in this breakaway. And you can see now we've got a rider coming across. So here we go. This is not only coming across, but going like a hot knife through butter. Again, no bonuses out here. It is a race to the finish line, but that certainly looks like a very incentivized rider off of the front right now.
1984 coming out of Germany
Good year.
Here.
Yeah.
George
George
Orwell off the front. Yeah, Orwell's off the front.
Orwell, there we go.
And,
you know what's really bizarre, Nathan? I literally just bought a copy of 1984 at the Boulder bookstore last week.
God. Really?
It was on sale. I was like $4 for 1984. I haven't read it since high school. Why not? So there you go.
Pick it back up. All the allegories are going to change to dystopian future in our broadcast. Here we go.
Hey, don't double speak me.
No,
now,
don't double speak. Big Brother's off the front. Here we go.
Well, it looks like they've got an eye on him because.
Oh my God, Dave, I love it. All right. Well, it looks like they're reeling them back in. They're reeling back in. The Ministry of Truth has taken over, and
the truth sandwich being served up. But
yep.
All right, so here we go. I'm glad that it's certainly a book that everybody should be familiar with. That's for sure. So let's go back though and hit the reset button, Nathan, as it's all back together now here. This is going to be fun. It really is. I have always loved Neokyo. You know, you've mentioned the Legion series a couple of times. That goes back into pandemic era, and that series must have happened right as these worlds were being introduced, or fairly close to that.
Yeah, 100%. That was part of the push for them, actually, a little bit later in the year from when they first launched, and it was a ton of fun to do those. That was one of the most well-attended elite races we had ever seen, actually. Hundreds showed up. It was very cool to see. Now, over in this B category, Dave, still Grupo Compacto. They're 9.7 in, but they've been traveling pretty good here. They're, about a K behind as far as distance goes. So they'll be hitting these similar sections to what these A category riders are hitting. There's so many riders here, Dave. The game isn't loading the tacks off the front right now. You can only have the closest 100 nearby. And I just saw an attack go off the front in this B category. They are keeping things together. Now, are they keeping their powder dry, as you would say, Dave? Or, can they just not get anything off the front? Ahead to the front here, we do see Sergerholm here from AAC, able to get a little bit of distance between him and the main pack. But, Dave, I don't know. It seems like the Bs are really covering and killing everything, even quicker than those A category riders, actually.
That's a really good question. What is the tipping point as far as the size of a group where solo riders attacking just makes literally no sense at all? We're at the midpoint of this race, about halfway through lap number 2 of 3 total. And yeah, unless you can find a couple of riders that are in exact sync with you, it is a fool's errand to attack a group this big, this strong, who've done, as far as the big picture goes, relatively little work to this point. So everybody sitting back in this group should be, I'm not going to say as fresh as a daisy because they've been racing hard out here, but, in relative terms, extremely fresh. So, yeah, Nathan, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because you certainly want to see active attacking and racing off of the front, but it's got to make sense to do it as well.
Your buddy Manolo off the front here from OTR, making a little bit of a move. I want to give a shout out here, though, as well to this team that was just on the front. I thought they were making a move together, like it was organized. This AAC team. I'm not actually very familiar with them. I've seen them around here and there until just recently. I wonder if it's a newer team or not. I'm going to try and get some information about them, but it's going to be Aquila Arma Complicare, AAC. And they are a Swedish team, actually. Ordenskjold, let's see here. Where are they from? They're from, I'm going to see if I can pronounce this. It's got a lot of those little dots above the vowels. Ordenskjold.
I'd say just ignore them.
Ordenskjold, Sweden. I probably murdered that, but they are, and everything actually is in Swedish on their About Us, so I'm not going to try and read that out loud. But they've got a almost completely Swedish team, one Swiss rider from what I am seeing, and well over 70 members. Pretty cool to see. I think mainly B category and C category riders actually for this AAC team. So good to see them out here, and they have come out in force, it seems, to be working together. Oskarsson here from that team. Jonas Segelholm is also, we've seen him out here plenty, 129 races underneath his belt here. So great to see that team showing up for this Z Racing real consistently. As a couple of attacks again, trying to go off the front in that B category, not being able to make any kind of distance at this point. Let's jump back over to those A's, though. They're heading through the alleyway, Dave, and I think they're starting to make the moves here. Over halfway through this race, Dave. About 7 or I'd say 8K to go. I think we're right around that 21K marker that we're going to be hitting for a finish today.
Yeah, and I think the launching pad, Nathan, really comes on the final lap on that last climb, really about 2.5K from the finish. We'll see if somebody wants to make a bold move there. So you see 1984 back on the front now. But Nathan, going back to what you were talking about just a minute ago, I think some of the strongest connections that you see in our community happen exactly with what you were talking about, that AAC team at that level. The Bs, the Cs, the Ds, these are the groups that really seem to bond and rely on each other. We see that in WTRL on Thursdays as well. So, yeah, well noted there. So our man Verks has been extremely aggressive out here. Werner Verks, the Belgian rider, has been riding on the front almost all day. So I have a feeling he's looking for a launch pad out here, maybe a rider or two to go with him to try to split this group up. Although he's got a pretty, well, there you go, an attack going clear now, or just starting to the anatomy of a breakaway that we're looking at. But Werner might do better, Nathan, to trust in his sprint.
I think that is the finish line they just went under, if I'm not mistaken. Okay,
that's correct. Gotcha. Yep. So that will be it. So a practice sprint there.
A little bit of a move with one to go. He heard you ringing the bell, Dave. And I think he's nuts. Dreen is going, and that is an invisibility power up. Actually, that was not seen. That was not seen by the pack. Nice little move here.
So now they see him. That's a perfect example if you want to put a tutorial together on how the ghost power-up works. Well, that's exactly how you do it. He activates when he's in the group. They don't see him leave. Boom, he's gone. Now, all of a sudden, he's up in the breakaway here. So that was an interesting moment here as we go inside of one lap of racing remaining. This is
Yeah, well
going
done. That was
to...
a good move, actually. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
perfectly done.
an invisibility power up used too well, very often. So very well done there by Dream. Now they need to really start working together though here. That speed, it slowed right on down the moment he came across. Collins actually brought it back to 4 watts per kilogram. And I don't blame him necessarily, but at the same time, it's like if you want this to work, you can't be slowing down and looking at each other with only 3 seconds off the front. You got to start doing that around 10. And then still with 6K to go, Dave, they got to keep this organized.
No, you make a really valid point, Nathan. You've got to just commit to the process and trust because, yeah, if you're already starting to play games at that point, there is no chance it's going to work. And that's exactly what happens. We hit the reset button one more time here. So into the last lap, it's just at 21K, almost exactly. Verix might get rider of the day, but I know that he's here to do one thing, and that's going to be to take the W. But certainly being attentive on the front, but is it going to be too much time in the wind? That's the problem here. That's the risk-reward gamble. So he's not taking much risk. Can he still get the reward?
Another one off the front here. It's going to be our buddy from the Ministry of Truth, it looks like here, throwing down Watt bombs again. And 1984. Now a
Same
new
thing.
name heads to the front, though. Arthur Jack here. Nice little move. He's up into only 3.9, 4.1, though. So just, these seem to be more keeping the pace honest, not necessarily going too hard. There's an invisibility, and that's a full gas invisibility power up, though. But he disappeared on the front. 11 watts per kilogram.
Watts. Yeah.
Whew.
So huge effort. That's, again, 1984 that we're looking at making. This is really the third massive attack that we've seen from this rider. And now the gap is, have we seen a gap go over 5 seconds out here? I don't believe so, at least not in the A category. And this is as close as we're going to get now, as he is definitely pushing the limits. We're going to be getting into the finale of this one pretty quick. Nathan, I like this move.
Yeah, he's got some distance now, Dave. This might be something as he's making a move. The B category is doing something similar as well. We do have your buddy Manalo here off the front from OTR. Not going to be caught immediately, though. 15.6K in for them. We've got 16.4. Interesting enough, they've kept it almost, looks like the A's have gained just a little bit, about 100 meters on them, it looks like. Now, F Cancer comes across, though, in that A category, as you can see. So it's going to be 84, F Cancer, down to 1 second. Not going anywhere again. Dave, we're going to have a field sprint, I think. We're going to a couple more attacks, though. There is that uphill 5% gradient right before the alleyway. I think that's really going to be the section that we watch out for today.
All we need, Nathan, is for me to say it'll be a field sprint for sure 1 or 2 more times, and we're guaranteed a breakaway is going to go away. So it's one of these kind of finales that you never really know. So this is a huge effort being made. That B group, so this is the A's that we're in with here right now. I wonder how much this group hasn't really whittled down, nor would you expect it to be, as these riders are all able to keep their head above water out here. But in that B group that started with over 150, I wonder how many riders make it into the finale of that one. It's going to be interesting to see. There's a lot more range when you work your way down from the B's to the C's to the D's. But this is going to be now what Neokyo Nights is all about. Twilight Harbor, 3 laps of racing, and it's come down to, let's call it, a little over 4K until this one is done and dusted.
Well, is John Verm out here today? If he's still in the pack, be on the watch out him for a solid kick to the line. Looking at the 15-second power on a lot of these riders. Sevket Uzer from the Hexagon team, is he actually racing out here today? I do see a Hexagon kit there making its way to the front, starting to position, it looks like. Be on the watch out for him. 16.8 watts per kilogram from Hexagon CC, one of the elite teams out here participating in the Zwift Grand Prix. John Verm is also here. He's got 16.2. Ingo Reichert, also one to also always watch out for. At a raw power watt situation, 1,259 watts for 15 seconds. We've got also Ingo there at 12.18. John Verm coming in a little bit lighter, so him maxing out at 11.24. Those are their personal bests. Hasn't been that intense of a race so far. So I have a feeling we may see close to that out of these riders.
Yeah, you make a great point. I mean, James Young has to come in as the 4-star favorite in my mind. Absolute monster. And I don't know that his nose has felt the virtual wind out here. Young, maybe just for a couple milliseconds. This is the biggest danger, is that somebody is able to crack the code. It looks like it's Del Forge here attacking with old school fury, but even that's not going to be enough. You see, just opening up a second is a monumental effort in that peloton now with all the heavy hitters sitting back there. It looks like they're going to get a crack at it today, Nathan.
This is going to be Thibaut Delforge. Good to see him. He's got 90 races coming out of Belgium, rides for Bikes FR. He's got a ZFTP at 355 watts. Now coming up on the top of him is going to be Williamson, out of the Netherlands. He's got a ghost power up. Nobody sees him but us, it looks like, at 6 watts per kilogram. He's going to get a second or two, I think. He's got 10 meters, 8 and 10, 12. 13, they're going up, they're going down, left, right, and center here as 1984 comes across. He's got the drafting power up on the downhill up at the 62 kilometers per hour. He's got some distance immediately. Good attack here coming from him over the top.
Wow. Well, Nathan, I'd like to see that ghost power up come with a little kicker, a little boost of maybe 1 watt per kilo or something to make it even a little more spicy. But this is going to be very, very interesting. Now, the fourth attack that we've noted here, but this one is coming with inside of 2K to go. So the penultimate kilometer has begun now. I don't know, Nathan, but it's really hard to not be pulling for this rider right now, going deep here, scraping the bottom of the barrel, looking for every watt that we can find. We still got quite a run. This is where having Zwift play would be awfully nice. You could probably squeak out another half second or so by taking the fast route here. The racer's line, we're quickly going to come up on 1K to go, but you can see it's getting very, very active behind our race leader, 1984. He's going to try to hide.
He's trying to hide. They know he's out there, though, now. F. Cancer's trying to come across to him as well. Doesn't know exactly when he's going to be hitting his wheel, but it does come across. It's out to 4 seconds. Dave, this is starting to get dangerous. They've left it a little bit here. Wex can see the writing on the wall. He starts to go across early power up, and that's a good move, actually, if he's not a sprinter, Dave, to get across to these two, but is that going to get any response? Wow. He's going to go right over the top of them, Dave. He's got so much speed here. He should just go flying right by them.
Well, Werner Verks has been the most aggressive rider of the day. He's got about 700 meters. If he can keep the accelerator down on the floorboard, I think the Belgian's going to do it. Nathan, he came in as one of the riders on my short list, and he is really, I tell you what, undersell, over-deliver, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's got to hold on, though, and there's going to be a real surge. Look at the power numbers coming from behind him. So Werner Verks is really in jeopardy now because they are coming like a runaway locomotive behind him.
Verks here is going to be able to hold on. No, I don't think so. Now to the front, it's going to be Cancer, F. Cancer, and then he takes it down right at the line. Nice move coming in from F. Cancer over the top. I thought Wex was going to do it, but They held on, Dave. They held on. I am so impressed.
Yeah, I mean, Werner ends up on the virtual podium, doesn't he? I believe that'll be third there, but we've got so much racing going on. Nathan, we'll have a chance to unravel that one, but right now it looks like the Bs are down to 1K to go. You've queued up the Cs here as well. Great job there, Nathan, but let's go ahead and jump into the call for the Bs finale now.
Yeah, back in with the Bs. We can see if we can find the front end of this pack, actually. There it is, as they make their way through the alley. This is the final couple of corners that we just saw. We're a little bit more familiar with them now. Now to the front, it looks like it is going to be Turpin makes the move. Locust Cider now, HW, looking for an early move, just like what we saw happen in that A category race. Can he hold on to it? But I have a feeling, Dave, it's going to be a little bit different. Well,
Ooh,
Dave, this seems to be the moment to go. They've figured something out here. Somebody's done their homework here because the amount of speed that you're able to gain through that section of course perhaps is just a little bit too much. We've got one off the front. I had no idea, actually, this breakaway from Wheatstraw is going to get caught, actually. Zwift play unable to hold on. Oh, did he do it?
He did.
Was that the plays? Was that the plays?
He found a wormhole out there. Wheatstraw somehow went through a portal and ended up winning that race. I'm not even, that was mind blowing. But so Wheatstraw was off the front. I know you caught that, Nathan, but it looked like he had just now. I was wondering because his watts didn't drop off. He was still making 6.2 watts per kilo in the last few pedal strokes. So he knew he was in with the shot. I'm going to just make that call, but it's a thumbnail sketch. But Wheatstraw for the W.
Yeah, that was pretty sick actually. The way that he
That
threw
was
down.
sick.
Yeah, that was cool. The way he and even with the Zwift play set, little move to the right there may have been what gave it to him. I'm not sure. We have to double check that and take a look, but I don't know if he would have been able to held on if he didn't do that little bit of a Zwift play move at the end.
Yeah, but this is certainly Zwift play has been, I'm going to say, over the last year, the coolest thing that we've seen. The Pack Dynamics 4.1, but Zwift Play has brought so much excitement to the table. And here we go again now. This is going to be our C's that we're looking at. And Grupo Compacto, I say with a slight question mark in my voice, making sure, and it is the Peloton all together right now.
Yeah, well, my fault for
180?
trusting my cameras for that last one. Right,
Oh.
there was somebody off the front that whole time. I mean, it was tough to catch it. I want to see when he went because all of a sudden I'm looking up the road. I'm focused on the A's, and suddenly there's this guy named Wheatstraw off the front that you said, portal to the front.
And he had a pretty good advantage too, Nathan. That was part of the problem, maybe, is if it was just a couple of seconds we would have seen, but he must have been 6-7 seconds up the road when we joined that event. But yeah, super interesting. Always fun jumping into these events. And this is our C's now that we're with here. The Swiss rider,
just
Yagi.
making that, Yagi just made a little bit of an invisibility power up. I think that was just to get a new power up coming through here. Kind of a cool section of course here. You kind of get a double power up that you're able to do as you're able to use one going through the banner and then use one again into the last K here. This is that downhill we've seen a lot of riders make a move here and try and hold on. And they have a lot of times through this section right here.
It's about 200 meters from the, and what's really great about this finish too is if you're in the back of a 200 rider peloton, you can see the sprint coming at you from about from the other direction as the course takes a real button hook at the finish line. And here we go. These are the attacks that we've been talking about. That looks like the mighty Sisu team.
Yeah, it looks like off the front now. Nice little move. 9 watts per kilogram. Not going to be quite enough as ART here comes up through. AJ Isaacs is going to be able to hold on to the line, Nope, it's going to be around the corner still. Another move here coming from the Nazgos here. Lutton now. Lutton over the top here, and it looks like that's going to be the move that holds on all the way to the line. Isaacs has to settle for that second place behind him. Nice move there coming from the Nazgos. That's such a ramp up that we've seen over and over again here through this entire race, Dave. That going through the alleyways. But the cool thing about this, Dave, so far for me in this race is that it doesn't necessarily like you haven't seen the exact same thing play out each and every time so far. They've been very creative and a lot of different tactics have been rewarded so far today.
Yeah, I think that, racers make the race, as we've said before, Nathan. This course is the blank canvas that they need to make a race. Absolutely perfect for what we're looking to accomplish here. And I hope that we come back and see Twilight Harbor a lot more often.
See if we can jump across here in just a second to the D category. They're about to ramp things up here. And hopefully we think we got a couple of riders that are going to help us get across to it. Coming out of the USA, Brian Lloyd trying to make some moves here. A Rico's there as well. And looks like 93 starters day, but things a little bit more separated out, it looks like. A Rico now trying to make some moves. Well, actually, I eat my words there immediately, as it looks like they're going to close that
you want my hat?
Down.
Yeah. So yeah, but Nathan, this is you make a really good point though. It is a little more ragged. Look at the back of the group here. This is what D racing is all about. It's a real battle, and this is where you find riders finding Zwift play action there all over the place. So, but yeah, this is the the level where riders are really finding out who they are as a racer, where their pain threshold actually is, because until you race, you never really find out. So the group snaking their way through Neokyo. They've got about 1.3K until this one is put paid. It's a out of 93 starters, Nathan, it took quite a bit just to make the front group out here.
Yeah, 20 have made it. 20 exactly, actually, have made the front group, as this is number 21 off the back. R. Terry not going to be able to make it. 4 seconds up. That train has left the station, Dave, it looks like, for this final sprint. Daniel is there. We've got Alstead, Finnegan, Nicholas, Warnecki as well. Perez, a little bit easier to spot some names here and move around the pack. Lots of ghosts here being used late in. They probably just got those and say, okay, well, got to make them useful somehow, and it's not going to speed me up in a sprint, so I'll make a move here. It's going to be Lloyd and Daniel here off the front.
Yeah, let's see if they want to do something with this. And it looks like they do. All right, we've got a late race attack. It's going to be two brave riders coming together here. If you've made this selection, though, you've done so much work to get to this point, you certainly don't want to let an escape roll up the road. And
Daniel here, Dave. Daniel's one of our female competitors, actually, jumping in here. Good to see. Making a move here as well with Lloyd. And that, I think, actually is one of our well-known Swedish team members, relative, maybe in-house, maybe wife, not positive exactly, but good to see her jumping in here. 5-4 off the front, unable to hold on, though, it looks like, as the ramp up for the sprint, but nice move late here coming from Daniel, but it's gonna be Wallen over the top, also coming out of Sweden. It's Kolar now, FH. Dave, this is right to the line.
Yeah, this starts the finale, no doubt about it, but you can see that would you rather be the hunter or the hunted? Finish line coming up, and this is going to go right down to the line. Look at this surge from the German, and I'm going to say...
Kohler did. Costa Rica, I think. Is that what that is? I'm not positive. Hanzo
Kohler? I think I'm going to go with Czech.
I think you're right, Czech. Yeah. It's similar colors. I think you're 100%.
Yeah, it is 100% the same colors.
Yep. Yeah, good call with Kohler. Hansa Kohler coming on through. We've got, man, I wish I could bring in his ZwiftPower profile picture because it's actually really great. Nice one there from Kohler over the top. Good timing in that D category. Dave, these racers have brought such a good race today.
Well, and Nathan, I really would say, if you want to take a look from 30,000 feet, imagine if you're a D racer, how great that experience was. You showed up, 93 other racers were in your field, so you had a legit peloton. A selection was made over the 3 laps. That's always cool to see, that it wasn't just riding around for 20, 30, 40 minutes. They were racing their hearts out. And ultimately, you see what was a really cool sprint finish. And we didn't know who was going to win until the final moment. That's bike racing right there in a nutshell.
Really great. Yeah, good job by everybody all around here today in the each and every categories. Absolutely love the show that they put on. Real quickly, let's take a look here at a couple of the replays and how things played out. As you did see in this A category, it was going to be a move off the front here. It was going to be Wex. Wex unable to hold on to it, though, right to the line. F Cancer over the top. Wex taking that second place. Ozer coming on in for that third place. We're going to bring in these results and take a look exactly at the top 10. Then we'll go and take a look as well at a few more of the results as they came in. But Paulo always in. And he's been around for quite a while, actually. It's always good to see him jumping into the broadcasts and taking down a solid win. Actually, well over a half a second there, Dave. 0.7 over Werner Wex.
Wow. Yeah, no question. That's outstanding job, Paulo. Good job to the F Cancer team. Werner Werks in second. It's going to be Sevket Ozer taking third today. Christian Nystrom of ESRT in fourth. Ingo Reichardt for fifth. David Squirrel of the Beasts team in sixth. It's Rainier Beckers, Dragons RT man in seventh. Simon Romy is going to be in eighth place for the SGAB and KC team. Bernard Beyer for the Cone squad in ninth, and then Broberg of Red Team ESRT rounding out our top 10 for the A's out here. On stage 2, it's Neokyo Nights, Twilight Harbor. How about the B's, Nathan?
Well, in the B category, we saw Turpin making that late attack, and he was in second place. I should have been able to read that on the right-hand side there, but Dave, it was this wheat straw out of the USA. That's with 5.7. He's got 4 seconds. He must have made a move really early to have that, and they really risked it here, Dave. And
there he is in the
yeah,
yellow
just
Tron. Yep.
see him. That's where we pick him up. Orange numbers popping behind him. He moves to the right here, Dave. And
There's the
he
finishing.
did it. He did it. That move to the right
Great.
completely made it happen for him. It was great to see. Nicely done. And here's the oops, sorry about that. Here are the results for the that move for Wheatstraw.
Great job, Petey. So Petey Wheatstraw taking the win. Alex Turpin came so close for Locust Cider HW. He'll be in second today with Johan Vestberg of the AAC team rounding out our podium. It's Marius Fossit, V rider, in fourth. It's Vembrandt of the Out Squad for fifth. P.A. Pedersen of AAC in sixth. Patrick Molinari for the Jet Squad seventh today. Nicholas Junvalt of Out in eighth. Dark Knight in ninth. And hey, Scary Mary Wilkinson in 10th. Good job, Mary.
Actually, Mary Wilkinson? Is that?
I'm saying it must be. Look at her. 4.3 watts watts per kilo out there as well. That's our Mary Wilkinson, one of the legends in esports and hill climbing over on the other side.
It
of
is
the
Mary Wilkinson riding for Canyon.
Good job, Mary.
Nice. Good to see her jumping in here. Top 10. One of the most well-known esports riders legend in the world. Great to see her. And I think she's been out hammering as of recently. I've seen a lot of cool posts coming in from her actually about her recent training and stuff. So great. I really appreciate her jumping into the broadcasted race with us today. Good to see. Coalition racer. Long time. She's been around for such a long time, Dave, when it comes to early days of this esport.
Yeah, one of the OGs, that's for sure. And, it's always impressive, too. It is an open category. So for Mary to take on these challenges, that's how she sharpens her sword. That's for sure. So that was our
top B category for sure. That's good moves here. Now, this is going to be the C
not
finish.
Only. Right, Nathan, not only was it a B category, but weren't there 153 starters in that B category? So the cream always rises to the top.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of them. And nicely to take a 10th place there. Now, I want to mention real quickly here, this AAC team, I think they were in this Bikes and Beer kit, the red with the white stripe across on the back there. And they were trying to do something here, it looked like to me, for some sort of a lead out. It is going to get hampered, I think, though, by, as you pointed out, the Sisu rider who did make that move in the C category here with Majasto here coming out of Finland. But then
kind of stole their thunder, didn't he?
Last moment. Yeah, they did. But Isaac's here from ART over the top with the drafting power. I thought he had it with that move. Ludden comes over the top there as well from the Nazguls, and he then is the one who takes all of the lightning, not just the thunder. Quite the move.
Yeah, that was, by the way, you're correct, the AAC team in that the red jersey there, and big props to them for being super organized and making a run at it. This is our C's, and it was Ricky Lutton of the Nazguls taking it out here, and very efficient racing as well from Ricky, so well earned using the head and the legs. AJ Isaacs of the ART team, that's the Atomic Racing team, taking the silver medal for second, and Ansi Mariasto, that's bronze medalist today. Martin Prop for WKG in fourth, Chris Kusel of ATP in fifth, Andreas Grundberg for AAC in sixth today, Brothers for seventh, Lucas Bergqvist of AAC in eighth, Mikkel Madsen of CVC in ninth, and James Bond rounds out our top 10 for the Mighty C's.
And as we saw in the D category, the late moves here coming in from Daniel and B. Lloyd. Good moves from them, trying to hold on all the way to the line. Were unable to do so. Over the top, it was going to be a move from H. Kohler. As you saw, very late in that sprint. Wallen was there as well, but Kohler with 9 watts per kilogram up and over the top. It was quite the battle there. Lloyd was still involved and a few others, but Kohler taking it down. The man out of the Czech Republic able to do the final sprint around that right-hand turn in that D category. So for the D category, Dave, nicely done all around for these riders. And we'll see if we can get them to actually come up here. as there is your final results.
Honza Kolar of the CSOB BP team taking the win and earning it there. Casper Wallen for second in silver and bronze. Third place, Brian Lloyd. Frank H. in fourth. Giovanni Sacomandi in fifth. There's the Stig Ulstad in sixth. Miguel Perez in seventh. TB for eighth. Andrew Nicholas in ninth. For our Ds today, Tim Finnegan found the top 10 for the PCH team. And there are no E's. So that's going to wrap it up for our leaderboards after some great racing out here. Looking forward to tomorrow, Nathan. Already pumped up for season 2 of the ZRL to kick off.
100%. It's going to be a great day of Zwift Racing League tomorrow. London Loop Reverse. You got to see the battle for it last week in the Zwift Grand Prix. If you want to go and watch that back and get any tips from what was experienced in the Zwift Grand Prix, you can see what kind of moves were trying to be made there. But Dave, we're going to see Fox Hill quite a few times. Tomorrow, most likely, we're going to be having 4 races is what we're going to be looking to cover tomorrow across Europe. We haven't scheduled them yet because we're still waiting for the signups to come through. We'll let you know. But you will definitely be getting an update on a scheduled stream for both Europe and Americas. So we'll be covering 4 races across Europe tomorrow and 2 races in the Americas. So be on the watch out for those to be scheduled. We will be alternating between a lot of divisions throughout the entirety of this next round of the Zwift Racing League. We try to get coverage across many of the divisions as we possibly can, and we'll keep on wrapping that up throughout the rest of the Zwift season as we can get the coverage. We need more commentators and more producers, Dave, really. There's just too many people racing. You know, I saw some stats yesterday from Martin. I'm going to see if I can bring these up here really quickly because it is the largest that we've had. I'm not surprised, Dave. I mean, it's obviously the most popular racing series that we currently have out on Zwift. I saw something like 14,000 riders pushing into 3,000 teams. Here's what we got. We've got for the women, 34 leagues. We've got for divisions. We've got 180. Is that right here? Hold on a second. Leagues total for women is going to be 7, excuse me. For open, it's going to be 27, 34 in total. For divisions, 37. For open, 183 and 220 in total. A total of 2,281 teams have signed up. Estimated participant is going to be 18,000. 14,000 returning and 4,000 new to the ZRL. Great to see 4,000 new
incredible.
riders.
Yeah, and that sounds like 10, 15% increase as far as the teams go, at least. So, yeah, that's great to hear.
Really good. 85 events, though, across on Tuesday. We're only going to be able to get to 6 of them tomorrow. We'll see if we can ramp that up at some point, everybody, as best as we can. But we'll be covering 6, and you will know as soon as possible. As soon as we get all the signups coming in, sometime tonight, I'll be scheduling a whole bunch of those. And you can always check out over on ZwiftPower.com. We do update those for what the live streamed event will be. You will see that up at the top of ZwiftPower.com as well as in the event. There'll be a little Zwift Community Live button that you can actually push, and it takes you right on over to the live stream. And we'll also be updating the website as soon as possible. Head over to ZwiftCommunityLive.com to find more out about ZRL. And then obviously we've got BL13 on Wednesday and the wrap on Thursday. That's going to be it from Dave and I. Dave, a lot of fun in Neokyo. We'll be back next week also for that, Dave. A lot going on. We're right back into the usual here when it comes to all things Zwift racing.
Good. I'll see you tomorrow morning, Nathan.
Sounds good. Thanks everybody for tuning in. From Dave and I, as always, appreciate you and ride on.